So you've just gone out, you've spent a lot of money on getting the new iPhone 12 Pro, and you are all excited and pumped up like I was about the video capabilities. These cameras on the back, the LiDAR, the HDR, the Dolby Vision. And you shoot your first video, and because you're a pro, because you've got the iPhone 12 Pro, you want to cut your video in Final Cut Pro X, and this happens. Hey guys, I'm Jonathan Creek, founder of Viral. Welcome back to the channel. So you're all pumped up, you've gone and bought yourself the iPhone 12 Pro, you want to cut your video in Final Cut Pro X, but you've brought it in, you've imported it, and to be honest, the pictures are just downright simply ugly. I'm going to teach you how to fix it. Let's have a look at the problem to start with. So here's my screen and look at that picture. This is the vision from the iPhone 12 Pro. And when I first saw this, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is going on? What could possibly have happened that made it look this bad? Well, I thought it was my fault. I actually thought it was me. But I went back to my phone, and I'll play you this to prove it. But I went back to my phone and checked it out. Let me get the bigger screen so you can see it too. And checked it out. And the colors and the balance and the pictures on the phone are beautiful. Just how I wanted them. Just how Apple told me they'd be. But when you get the Pro footage and put it into Final Cut Pro, something's gone really, really wrong. Well, the first thing that you need to do is you need to understand that this problem isn't yours. It's a problem to begin with in your libraries. Because these libraries are old, they are what's known as SDR libraries, Standard Dynamic Range Libraries. The iPhone 12 Pro wants you to set up wide gamut HDR libraries. So the first thing you're going to need to do is set yourself up a new library. I've already done it here up at the top, and you can just do it like anything, like a normal library. You just go to your file, so you start yourself a new library, call it whatever you like. I've called mine iPhone 12 HDR, so there's no confusing that this library is my HDR Vision library. So you get into there. The first thing you need to do, once you've named it, is make sure you come over to Modify here on the right hand side in the library properties. You click Modify, and then you change the setting to Wide Gamut HDR. So once you've got your library set up, that's an HDR library. You're part way there to solving this problem. So this is the vision as it came in. So I've got the clip here. I've put a color board on the top of it because this is naturally the first thing that I do. So you just grab the color board and you just drag it on top. I've already got one on there, so I'm not going to do it again. And that gives you access to this menu up here, the color board. So we'll just go into the color board and have a look at what options it gives us. So this is a screen that anyone who's been cutting on Final Cut Pro would be familiar with. You can change the exposure, the saturation, and the color. Now looking at this image, this HDR image out of my new iPhone 12, is that I think that the first thing that's wrong with this is exposure. So I click on exposure and I play with it and bring it down a bit. And it does get a bit better, but by the time the exposure gets right, the other areas of the shot are too dark. If you keep going down, it just goes ridiculously dark. So then maybe I need to drop the saturation down to get rid of the pinkness in my skin. So we grab the saturation dial and we turn that down, and it just makes me look a little bit sick. So what the point I'm getting at is this isn't the perfect picture that we're after from the iPhone Pro 12. But I know that in this device is great video footage. This is just a hurdle that we're going to have to get over until Apple comes up with a solution that makes this easier. So the color board, looking at this, is never going to save us 100%. So the next thing that you need to do, if the color board can't save you, is you go down into your effects browser here, which is this one here, the same one that the color board's in, and you need to scroll all the way down to H, and under H you'll find an overlay called HDR Tools. So you grab your HDR tools, you drag that onto your clip just like you would with any other special effect. And in your menu up the top here, in your clips, you'll get your HDR tool. And with the mix, you can change things. So this is at 100% the HDR tool, taking all the colors down. And if you reduce it, you can go all the way down to pure red. I think just doing this quickly, somewhere around the 50% mark is about right, even though I am still a little bit pink. So I need to set the HDR, then I'll turn the color board on, still pink. Let's have a look if we can play with the saturation a little bit. Let's bring the saturation down, make me a little bit washed out. Bring the exposure down a little bit, touch. I do like to look at the midtones. If you're trying to do this, the midtones can be really handy for keeping a little bit of color in your face while controlling the exposure in other places. And we're starting to get a shot that's looking okay. The last thing that I'd suggest you do to fix this problem, and it really is a hassle why the vision just can't come in looking great. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, I'm not sure, I can't seem to work it out, is you need to get some Luts. Hopefully you're already aware of Luts. Luts are overlays or preset color grading that photographers and filmmakers have out on the internet. There's a lot of free ones available. You can download them, download them from the internet, and then upload them straight to Final Cut Pro. So I've gone along, I've got a whole lot of Luts here. So let's turn on a Lut just by clicking here, the way that you do Luts. If you don't know, I'll give you a quick lesson on Luts. Luts is that you come over to your titles and generators browser. You need to have downloaded an adjustment layer. The adjustment layer sits on the top of your clip, and then what that allows you to do is in the clip here, once you've got the adjustment layer on there, you can come to your effects browser again, you get your custom Lut, you drop your custom Lut on the clip. The adjustment layer sits on the top, you need to put this on the clip, and as you'll see here, here's one that I've already done, but this is the one that I've just put on. Now under this menu here, I've got a number of different Lut packs. So this is one Lut pack, and usually there's a setting which is called, it's called model or interview. There's a lot of different names depending on who develop it. We'll go for model. That's more for cameras, and as you see, you put that on there, it's too crazy, don't panic. You then just can adjust the mix, and we can get almost all the way down to just above 0, so it's only a slight effect, and you can see it adjusts it just a little bit better again. It's starting to look okay. It's still not perfect, Apple. It still looks better on the phone. Maybe with the Luts back on there, you can go back into color, play with the master a little bit, play with the saturation a little bit, bring it up a touch. So it's a little bit of mucking around. It's not the perfect solution that we're expecting from the phone. The other option is you just go to your phone and change the settings and turn the HDR off, which sort of defeats the purpose of having it. But there's an issue between Final Cut Pro and the iPhone 12 Pro in terms of HDR footage. Hopefully they'll fix it soon in a software update. That's how I'd tackle it at the moment. It's not perfect. It's a lot more mucking around. It's not that simple, easy Apple just works scenario. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people, including myself, making them aware of it. We can only keep our fingers crossed that it happens sooner rather than later. So just cutting this video on the fly, wanting it to get done while I was trying to cut another one. Came across this problem. That's how I'd be tackling the solution. Hopefully there's some insights there or some things that will help you guys too. If I gave you any value at all, please consider subscribing, giving it a like, or if you have your own solutions, I'm open to hearing them. Leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.